Welcome to Karma's Harvest. There is a terrifying difference between being alone and being erased. In the silence of room 402, Eleanor began to realize that the most dangerous weapon she ever wielded was now pointed directly at her own heart. She had built a career on making people disappear, but she never imagined that she would become the victim of a machine she designed to do exactly that. Have you ever wondered what happens when the efficiency we demand from the world finally decides that we are the ones who are no longer efficient? As the days passed in the sterile white room, Eleanor's panic turned into a cold, hollow despair. She wasn't just being ignored by the nurses. She was being processed by a system. 2 years prior, Eleanor had consulted for this very hospital, implementing an AI-driven resource allocation protocol. It was a cold mathematical algorithm designed to prioritize medical attention. Based on a patient's social contribution, index a metric Eleanor herself had helped define. She had argued that the busy and influential should never have to wait for those she deemed low-value assets. Now, because her own frozen bank accounts and the sudden disappearance of her corporate status triggered a red flag in the system, the hospital's AI had categorized her as a Category D patient minimal priority. The staff wasn't ignoring her because they were cruel. They were ignoring her because their tablets told them she didn't require active engagement. The psychological wall she had built to crush Elias was now a digital wall, protecting the hospital staff from her screams. To them, she was just a series of declining numbers on a screen. But the true harvest arrived on the 5th night. The door creaked open, and for the first time, someone didn't just walk past her bed. Someone stopped. It was Elias. He looked thinner, his face pale, but his eyes were clear. Eleanor tried to reach out, her fingers trembling. She expected him to laugh, to mock her, to record her misery for the world to see. That's what she would have done. But Elias simply pulled up a chair and sat down. He was the only person in the entire building who was actually looking at her. "I heard about the accident," he said softly. "And I heard about the priority protocol you're under." "I'm the only one who can override it, Eleanor. As the lead strategist of the firm you left behind, I have the administrative credentials to change your status." Eleanor's heart thrashed against her ribs. This was it. Her salvation. She looked at him with pleading eyes, begging him to click the button, to make the nurses see her again, to give her back her life. But Elias didn't touch the tablet. He just looked at her for a long time in the silence. "For 3 months," he whispered, "I felt exactly what you're feeling now. I screamed into a void, and you were the one who made sure no one answered. You didn't just want me gone, you wanted me to doubt that I even existed. You told me it was for the best of the team. Well, the system says this is for the best of the hospital." He stood up, his hand hovering over the tablet. Eleanor let out a choked sob. Elias looked at the screen, then back at her. "I'm not going to leave you in the dark, Eleanor. I'm going to do what you never did for me. I'm going to give you a choice." He placed the tablet on her lap. The screen displayed 2 buttons. One was Restore Status, which would bring her back to the world of the living. The other was Voluntary Resignation, which would liquidate her, remaining corporate shares to pay for Elias's mother's outstanding medical debts and move her to a low-cost, state-funded recovery ward where she would live out her days in total anonymity. "If you want to be seen again," Elias said, "you have to pay back the reality you stole from others." He turned and walked toward the door. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. He knew that for a woman like Eleanor, being a nobody in a state ward was a fate worse than death. But he also knew that the silence of the hospital was becoming unbearable. In the end, the harvest wasn't a physical blow. It was the crushing weight of a signature. Eleanor realized that her power, her money, and her perception were all illusions. She was faced with the ultimate choice: remain a Category D ghost in a luxury room. She could no longer afford or become a common, visible human being, with nothing left to her name. The Queen of Silence had finally found her voice. but she had to give up her crown to use it. Thank you for joining us for the conclusion of this harvest. It's a stark reminder that the systems we build to exclude others will eventually find a way to exclude us. If this story moved you, or if you believe that everyone deserves to be seen, please leave a comment with the word visible below. We are starting a brand new story next week about a judge who sold justice to the highest bidder, only to find himself in a courtroom where the jury is composed of his own past victims. Subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the final verdict. Until then, keep sowing with kindness and seeing the humanity in everyone you meet.